Hi, welcome to our weekly Viewsletter.
Hi guys.
I know you've been dying, waiting all week for it to come, right?
We're back.
We're back. You're back.
I'm back.
She's back from Europe, and I'm super jealous. But we thought we'd share a couple tips about international travel. Kay, tell us. I mean, you've had an amazing trip, Italy, London.
Yes.
What have you learned?
Well, first of all, I don't know what day it is.
But
But
jet lag.
I'm super jet lagged. Amazing trip. And while I was on the trip, there were a couple of things where I was like, man, if I had just done a little bit more prep work, I could have saved myself a little more money, because some of the attractions that we went to and things like that were so crowded. And so specifically I want to talk about, like, if you're going to Europe and you're going to see some of the big attractions, like we went and saw the Vatican, the Colosseum, all the cathedrals, the big
majors,
museums,
the highlights,
the big popular things that you know are going to be super crowded, especially right now, spring all the way through summer. Super important to get your tickets before you go.
That's hard if you're trying to wing it,
which is what we did.
Be in the moment, but
yeah, our whole trip,
my planning.
Yeah, my husband likes to wing things, and so we weren't quite sure what cities we were doing, and I was totally fine with it. And it worked out great, and everything we got to see was incredible. But we did have to pay a little bit more money because we did not plan ahead. So I would buy your tickets in advance. You're gonna skip a lot of the lines that way. And I really would recommend doing audio tours for everything. Everything was done pretty much in an hour. Each museum we could do in an hour. Each attraction we could do in about an hour. And the audio guides are really effective tools to use so that you're not just aimlessly wandering around. Like, it'll tell you who did what the time was, and what was going on in the country at that time. So
kind of leads you through.
Yes.
Yeah.
One that we did was called Skip the Line, but that was just because we were rushing and they were there. But just go online and buy in advance and print it off and show it to them when you get there. So that's one tip. Another tip is airlines in Europe. And
we're spoiled, a little bit spoiled.
We're super spoiled, and they were fine and they functioned properly, but they were not motivated to be super convenient, and so you have to be on your toes. Gate changes, or a lot of the times we didn't even have track assignments or even gate assignments for trains or airplanes until 45 minutes before we were supposed to leave.
That's nice.
Yeah, and then they, with the airline we flew, they told us 45 minutes to an hour before where our gate was. No matter where it was, it could be on the other side of the terminal, and it was one time. And then they cut you off, half an hour before the flight leaves, they cut you off. So we were running to our flight from London Gatwick to Rome, because we'd been there 4 hours earlier, but we didn't know where our gate was until it was almost too late. So it was a Home Alone moment. We got there, we were all sweaty. So just know that going into it, and know that you need to be flexible and you need to constantly be checking the monitors. And same thing with our train track. Our train from Rome to Florence changed 10 minutes before it got there. And so you don't speak the language, and even when they do speak the English. Even when they do speak English, unless your ear is used to hearing it, it's hard to understand because the cadence is different. And anyway, so that would be my recommendation.
Well, speaking of planning ahead, keeping on your toes, passports. Get them ahead of time. Do not delay.
Just
and
get it
wait.
now. You should always have a passport.
I mean, you're planning on international travel
and they're
in
good,
your lifetime.
They're good for 10 years. So get it now, and that way you're ready when you need to.
Yeah, and we live super close to Mexico, and so we love going there and taking our kids. So we all have passports. So I heard a horror story about a woman who waited so late she had to fly to Seattle to get and pay crazy amounts of money to get the same day passport so she could go on her trip. Don't do that, please. Get them way ahead of time. And you're thinking, I don't want to go to the post office. That place is annoying. that drives me crazy. I agree. So
Good point, you.
So don't go to the post office. Go to your local city hall. Someone gave us that tip when we were getting our kids' passports. So we went to City Hall. There was no sort of line. There was no one else there, and they gave us their full attention, and we got it like that. They took the pictures there and everything. Posey?
Here's our visitor.
That's a great place to go and get your passports, especially if you're going with kids. Our City Hall even had like a kid play area that they were in while we filled out all the paperwork. So skip the post office, go to your local City Hall.
And get it now.
And now. You'll need it, for sure.
Okay.
Any other tips?
That's it.
That's it.
Here's our visitor, Posey. Posey, can you say hi? Hi.
And check out our blog. There's been a bunch of new posts. I've done a bunch of posts about Oregon, our Oregon trip, and Europe is coming. And so check out our post. Thanks for subscribing.
So many pictures of gelato are about to be put on the blog, so just stay posted.
Amazing. I feel like I just got fatter here.
I am fatter, you can tell. All right, guys, thanks.
Bye.
Bye.